on, it's like, oh, great, it's 5 degrees. I got to go back outside, drive 5 miles, clean off the truck, go meet this customer. Then the customer doesn't show up. I still would like to go back to work for a machine shop or someplace that mostly needs help out front, but you know, every once in a while there'd be the occasional jobs in the back cutting steel, or you know, even sweeping, cleaning. About the only way I can stick a job is it has to change a lot. I have to be learning new things. You know, I can't do the same thing every day. So, where you are, how hard is it to get a driver's license? It's changed a lot here in the last 20 years. Ooh, expensive? I think they're charging kids something like $300 now to take the driving course. I think in Ohio you actually have to take it. But ours were included as part of my high school. You took it between your junior and senior year, usually, depending on your age. And I don't remember, I think we just paid for books or $35 towards gas or something. So here's a bookmark. What I did was I just took a strip of the longer scrap paper, laid a few of the scraps on it, and just sewed once up and once down. You can't really make a circle on a sewing machine, he's not in a hurry, for this narrow of a piece. So I normally just go down, lift up the needle, turn around, come back, and then trim those ends so that that's missing. And that one's all done. The cards are going to get a little tape to hold them down, double-sided tape. But the bookmarks are just good to go, and that saves you quite a bit of money if you want to do a whole bunch of them as it's a charity job. You know, but you can imagine if you had a friend that had a bookstore, you could just put a pretty mug of these up in the front, and customers could just help themselves to one. You could make them a theme, you know, for different kinds of books. It appears I have a broken thread. Ah, the thread went over. Man overboard on the thread. Yeah, I like these old sewing machines. I have sewn the stationery cards on a really modern, very inexpensive machine. It works just fine. I've sewn them with polyester thread on $99 Walmart machines. They work. Alright. I've noticed on the bookmarks, it's kind of a good idea not to get it into your mind, sort of like watercolors. Don't get it into your mind that it's going to look exactly like X when you get done, because the paper, as the machine pushes them a little bit, the papers can migrate around on the surface. You know, if you're striving for that modern art look, you'll probably be the happiest with the results. Driver's license, and wow, $3,500 for a driver's license? I don't think we pay that for our car here. Wow, $3,500. How much training do you have to have? And good Lord. Yeah, we wouldn't have a lot of drivers around Ohio if they had to pay $3,500 a piece to have a driver's license. You know, where we are in the city, the income level's, you know, pretty decent, but you get out in the rural areas, there's a lot of people making it on, you know, $600 or $700 a month Social Security. We have a lot of older people in Ohio. One way they are driving up the price of having a car and using it is our traffic tickets here have taken a real jump. It's astounding. You know, you could be going only, you know, 20 over. I got stuck on here somewhere. You know, again, cheap materials, I don't have to worry about it. Turn it a little bit. Okay. All right. I'll keep busy. Bye, husband. I have junk. Junky threads. I can't hear you. I got headphones on. Like that made any sense. Get my thread unjammed. Now, if you start trying to sew cardboard, you'll find out pretty quickly that a lot of machines don't like it. You should at least put in a leather needle. List of required courses, training hours. Wow. Well, the training course here is, if you're like, you know, a brand new driver, who's never driven, you're not transferring in a license from another country, or you know, you haven't been without a driver's license for decades or something. It's 6 weeks on the weekend, and you take the classes for 3 weeks, I think. And then you go out with a driving instructor in their car, and that gets you a learner's permit. Now, most people will go that route, and then one of their parents or somebody will drive them the rest of the required number of hours in a car. And I believe we have a law in Ohio now where you're supposed to be 18 before you can have more than one passenger in a car and so on. Because we had a problem. I don't know if they passed it or not. They had a problem where the teens would get, you know, like we all did, they would get a bunch of friends in a car, and then the distraction level, of course, goes way up, even if you don't do things like, you know, try to impress them with your driving skills by going fast or racing the train or something. So they would have this problem where they said that it was the extra distraction was causing the deaths to go up. And you'd see it every spring. There would be people who, there'd be 5 of them in a car, 3 of them not wearing seat belts. You know, it's just, you know, it would be so sad. You know, there'd be all these photos, you know, and they'd interviewing the school friends, and it would just be so sad. So at first they were talking about having it so that they couldn't drive after dark. But one of the big problems, I got rear-ended by somebody. Her family sent her out on Thanksgiving Day. She wasn't driving a car she'd ever driven before because it was the last one in the driveway, and there were a lot of company over for Thanksgiving. And they had run out of nutmeg, I believe she said, and they sent her out. She'd never driven in snow, and it was actually a blizzard warning out. And we had decided that since we'd be stuck in for 2 or 3 days, we should go up to the nearest grocery and get some groceries and bring them home. And yeah, she didn't realize that the car would slide, and she slammed into us so hard, just pushed us through the intersection, narrowly missing a salt truck that was coming the other way. And she called and had her dad come, And meanwhile, I had to be seen by the ambulance. It was such a mess, and I just thought all they had to do was make sure that they didn't send the most experienced driver in the household up to the store in a vehicle she'd never driven, in weather conditions she'd never driven in. It just, luckily, it was a little bit of chiropractic visits and a couple x-rays, and I wasn't seriously injured. We might have been killed if we'd been pushed out in front of that salt truck as it barreled through the intersection, because we had no traction once she hit us sitting there. We never saw her coming. There was no horn, no warning, just bam, So that wasn't so great. So I sort of hold the parents responsible. The weather conditions are bad and your kid hasn't driven in it before. Sending them off to school, maybe that's not the best time for them to do that, or having them drive someplace they haven't driven to before. Why don't you just drive them one more time and make it better for everybody. So you can see I'm still on Bookmarks. I've done a little stack of cards here, my little scraps. Don't want to waste anything. Wow, I just had a really strong moment of deja vu. That was weird. So see, as they're coming out of the sewing machine, I'm saving thread and time. I'm just clipping them off right here. Put them in my little pile. Like all horrible things in life, you kind of manage to move on. Time goes by whether you like it to or not. Certainly not the most horrible experience. In the end, she was okay. Our cars were all totaled. We were all right. She learned that when it's snowing, it's slippery, which she didn't know before. A couple of my threads got on the back along with another piece of paper that really wasn't intended to be there, so I'm just going to snip off, just trim that off. That's a neat one. One more. I mean, just think about all the stuff you could be throwing into these. Tissue paper that you picked up after a wedding. A little teddy bear on the front of the cereal box. Stickers, your kids could put stickers on them. That one had a little bump in the middle, so I just cut it with the scissors. I have another little pile of scraps here. I'll make one more bookmark so we can use them up. Yeah, I got this odd purple paper. It's really soft and strange. Sneak the corner off of one of these other pieces of paper down here. Sometimes I'll fold them up and put the goodies on them like that. Just wad it up and put it on there. Now the way you do this one, if you want to just use up really tiny little bits and pieces of stuff, you can either use the clear that comes out of the front of like a package of spaghetti or something, that will work, the cellophane, or you can cut up, like I'm about to do, you can just go ahead and cut up a piece of plastic that comes for file, so you can put them into a binder. These work too. This keeps your sewing machine from grabbing all those little bits. So, put it in there, sew. Now you want to make sure you make a round around the outside, otherwise all those little bits are going to